and would punish him for the terrible thing that had happened, not because he had wanted it, but because of an accident. As I put my arm on his shoulder and spoke with him, I spoke to him of the reality of the resurrection, the reality that even in this pain, we believe in God's life, and that your friend, Emmanuel was his name, is now with the Lord and cared for by the Lord in a deep way. And you can live in a beautiful world of the promise of everlasting life. And even speaking to Emmanuel now that he's in the presence of the Lord, and sharing your sorrow and your regret and your friendship and your prayers for his mom and dad, for all the people involved. Fascinating, isn't it? Fascinating to think of this. This is the heart of what Easter is all about. And as we get on our fancy clothes and our hats and we sing songs and we know that we've put the pain and struggle of Lent behind us, the real power of what happens with Easter is the power of what happens in these two experiences that happened to me yesterday. The praying over Teresa, who is dead, and all of the pain that people have, and speaking of hope, and then talking with this young man, this young 14-year-old boy whose life has been radically changed because of an accident that happened, and giving the promise that God's life will never end, and the reality of Jesus living, dying, and coming to life is the key to our understanding of what Christianity is all about. I'm hoping that, I know this sounds a little somber, especially as we're talking about the joy of Easter and the victory of Easter, but let's never forget the pain of death and the fear of death and the avoiding of death that we have. And yet now, Christ has entered into that reality and given us a brand new hope and a brand new life, that no matter how overwhelming death seems, because of the love of Jesus Christ and his victory from death to life, we have hope and we have love and we have a great peace in our life. Think about that. Embrace the God who loves you so very much that he has died and given you victory over the greatest obstacle and the greatest fear you have, which is death, with the promise that you will be with God and with all of those you love in a wonderful way in heaven. Amen? Amen. God bless you very much for listening to my little sharing here. But I have a guest, and if you were watching the opening of the show, my guest was able to say a few words to you on the little tease before the show started. This is a rather different experience, and I don't know of any other television ministry that's been able to do this, but I am able to bring to you today a person who was an eyewitness to the reality of the burial and the resurrection of Jesus. Now, I know this sounds really strange, but this person is a dear friend who's a crow. Now, this crow had his nest right in a tree overlooking where the tomb of Jesus was. And this crow, get this, has agreed, and this was very hard, this wasn't easy for me to do, to fly all the way from Jerusalem to San Bernardino, California. And just yesterday, he arrived, and he has agreed to come on and share with us the inside story of what happened on the burial and the resurrection of Jesus. Would you mind if I brought my friend along? I don't know when he's going to go back again, but let me bring this friend right here to you, and let's see if we can talk. We can maybe get a little bit of an understanding. Oh, well, gee, I am so honored that you would come and that you would be with us today, because there's all kind of people here on the television that are, they're just hanging on every word that you're going to say that's going to allow us to understand what happened. First of all, how are you doing? My wings hurt a lot. I know, because that's a long, long trip. It was very long, but I guess it's okay, because I like your television show. I see it in Jerusalem. You watch my show in Jerusalem. I like it very much. Okay, thank you for doing it. Well, I'm honored, thank you.
So I want to come and I want to tell the people that watch your show about what happened on Good Friday, then Holy Saturday, and then on Easter Sunday itself. Very, very interesting. And it's really, really true to what they say in the Bible. It really is true. Very much so, very much so. But can I tell you? Well, I'm dying to know what happened. Now could you maybe start, what happened on like Good Friday? Well, I was sitting in my nest. It was kind of towards evening, and I was kind of tired. And my girlfriend, she was over on the other side, and she was kind of tired too. And we were all ready to go to bed. And then all of a sudden there was a big commotion down. There was a tomb. Nobody had ever used this tomb before. And there were all kind of people coming. And so I kind of looked out over the edge of my tomb, or of my nest down there, and looked at it. And there they were bringing the body of what I found out later was Jesus. They brought the body of Jesus, and they laid it down on the ground. Right there. Who else was there? Well, let me think. His mother was there. And then there was a real pretty, they called her Mary Magdalene. She was there. Then there was a guy, his name, he had real fancy clothes. His name was Joseph or Armitkuda or something. Armita, I don't know what it was. But there was another guy there. Then there were some other women. Funny, there weren't a lot of men around, but then there were some women there. Okay, so they were there. And then you know what they did? They opened up the tomb. They started rolling away the tomb, the stone in front of the tomb. Okay, they rolled that away, and then what happened? When they opened up the tomb, then what happened? Well, the mother came down and she kissed Jesus very, very much. She kissed him on his forehead, on his hands and his feet. And then the women came in and they also kissed him on his hands and on his feet. And then they brought Jesus into the tomb. I couldn't see because I was up in my tree and I couldn't see too much, but they brought him in and they were in there. Oh, I bet they were there for about 45 minutes just doing that. And I didn't see anybody, but I kept looking because I figured this is really important because there were all these important people.